MrBeast Gaming. Is it good? Is it bad? It's not good, and I'm gonna explain why in this video, okay? So, a few, I wanna say like months ago, MrBeast decided to start a new gaming channel, and full disclosure, I love MrBeast, okay? I think that this dude is hilarious. I've been following him for a really long time, and I love all the content he puts out. But as a Minecraft server owner, his server's really bad. I kind of want to make a video sort of explaining why some of the things that he does on his server just doesn't work, and also maybe explain how it can be done a bit better. So let's dive into it, okay?
Welcome back, gamers, to another MrBeast gaming video. The premise is simple. We have a volcano and we have 100 random people. Here's how it's gonna work. There's a switch right here that opens this box and lets them roam around the map. Carl is competing.
Hello, it's me!
Me and Chris will be dropping items, blah, 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 flick the switch. All right, and they're off to the race.
There's a creeper right beside you.
Oh, come on!
Oh no! Oh no!
What?
Alright, so there's a lot to unpack just in these like first few scenes, but I think the first one is the most important one. MrBeast saying that like he has two buttons, and if he pushes one, then X happens, and if he pushes another one, then Y happens. That is a command block, and I think that's quite interesting because you'll notice that this is a theme across all of MrBeast's server videos, is that everything seems to be done with command blocks, which I can tell you as a server owner is like it can work, don't get me wrong, but I feel like relying on it is just causes too many issues, especially when you have a lot of plugins and scripting plugins as well that can kind of just do it better, make it look better, stuff like that, right? You can do so much with scripting if you have like the proper scripting plugin, and I'll try and recommend some to MrBeast, but I think at the end of the day, if I had to take a guess at how the maps are made, MrBeast has said repeatedly in his videos that they make their own maps. So what that says to me is that MrBeast hires a build team, and the build team puts together the map, and then probably also has someone who's good with command blocks who makes all the command blocks, so it's really simple, just push this button, push that button. Which can work. The problem though is that I get the vibe a lot of the time that MrBeast and the people that are filming this whole thing don't actually know what they're doing half the time. And this will come up a bit later on, but you'll see that they, even at simple things like world edit set lava is like completely foreign to them. Like it's wizardry almost, right?
Oh,
right.
You just killed like three people.
Whoa, Skep, was that you?
The center is lava. It just has to be done.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! How did you do that?
What?
And I think that lack of knowledge can sometimes lead to a lack of exciting mini games or events because they don't really know how to organize it correctly. If I had to make a suggestion just off the bat, the first thing I think MrBeast should do is hire a manager. Look for someone local that he can get on his MrBeast crew, find someone who's had experience running servers, pay them just a small amount to manage these events, you know, just give them operator status, give them console access. You got to make sure it's someone you trust if you're going to give them those two things, and just let them sort of be in charge of the build team, be in charge of the process, because, like, just trust me on this, they're going to do a much better job. The minigames are going to be better for it.
Ah!
No!
Hi, cats.
Dude, these pillagers, they snipe people. Watch this.
Oh, do they really? Spawn
Yeah.
some. Oh, Simp plays?
This video shows it a little bit. There'll be other videos later on that really exacerbate this problem, but a big issue is that once the players have dropped down into the play area, there's kind of nothing to do. And in this instance, you can see that the players have all spread out to their own pieces of land, but there's no reason to go to other players' like areas. There's no reason to even parkour around because it's a risk. So if you're a player, you're just kind of sitting around doing nothing. And nothing is like the best thing you can do. Because if you're interesting, if you have a cool skin, a cool name, if you stand out in any way, MrBeast and his, his helpers, his like Chandler and Chris and all that, they're going to target you with all of these trolling. They're going to spawn creeper eggs on you. They're going to spawn pillager eggs on you. So just looking at this challenge, which unfortunately a lot of the challenges like this, the best thing you can do if you're in it is to actually be as boring as possible, which doesn't make for a very good spectator event for we the audience. And you can kind of see how there is so little to do for the players. There is so little happening that repeatedly MrBeast and his crew have to spice things up by spawning in lava, spawning in creepers, spawning in mobs, and trying to make the arena more dangerous. Off the top of my head, I think a really cool idea like for this could have been to make it an arena with elevated different bits of ground, and maybe have the lava like rise and fall repeatedly, which you can do with a lot of scripting plugins. You can make it so the lava falls down, and then maybe at the lower part of the maps there's treasure with gear in it that, you know, players could use to hit each other. So now there's a risk to going down there to get the gear, but they can't be down there for too long because then the lava might rise back up. So suddenly you have like this ebb and flow, this risk reward, this thing that the players are trying to do. You know, they need to be killing each other. There has to be a reason to kill each other, because if there isn't, they're just going to camp. And at the moment, camping's the best thing they can do because there is nothing else to do. And I think that that's the biggest flaw in these minigames, is that they're just not very well planned out. And for the players, it's kind of more they just sit there to be rats in a maze for MrBeast and his friends to kind of just troll them. But I mean, you can only do that so many times. There's 100 players, you know what I mean? At what point does the audience get sick of it? I know I got sick of it around like one video, and then to see like 4 or 5 more just like it was too much.
Why are there so many cats everywhere? They're in boxes.
Wait, Chandler, don't kill
What
yourself.
are you doing?
I will not live in this world if I'm a bad friend.
We need conquest until he dies. Go. Go.
So they've got PvP on for this video, which they don't do for every video, and we're getting to that. But I think it's kind of interesting that the PvP is just so... it encourages non-engagement. It encourages passivity, which we're getting to, right? So a big thing is that you'll see that the inexperience from MrBeast and his team kind of shows here, because players don't want to fight because they don't have gear, right? So it would just be a punching match. So it's a better strategy for players to kind of like hold their own ground, right? There's no reason to explore. Think of something like Minecraft Hunger Games, right? You're encouraged to explore because you want to get the treasure chests that have gear in them, which gives you an advantage. And then you're encouraged to engage other players to steal their gear to get a bigger advantage. Makes sense, right? There's a whole risk reward to it. There's a reason to constantly be on the move. There's no gear in this map. There's no chests to loot. There's nothing to do, really. It's just go until there's one remaining. But because no one has gear, they don't want to fight. They don't want to move. So MrBeast tries to circumvent this problem by giving out gear to people, like, individually, which is just kind of weird. It creates this really bad balance where you have players that are surviving well by not getting trolled because they're very uninteresting. They look boring, they have boring names, they're not doing a lot. So therefore MrBeast and his gang don't target them with creeper attacks or spawning mobs on them. But then you have other players that do look interesting, and if they're not getting trolled, then maybe MrBeast is going to throw an iron sword at them, and suddenly they have a really big advantage. As a spectator event, it's just like not very well organized, and it's just open to all of these flaws that make the whole event, I think, like worse off as a result.
And that's correct. I'm gonna leave him alone. Hey, buddy. Chris.
Hey, Jimmy, you should come check this out. All they have to do is stand here for 10 grand.
That is not factual. Geppy is lying.
Oh,
All right.
you just killed like 3 people.
Whoa, Skep, was that you?
The center is lava. It just has to be done.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. How did you do that?
What?
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Okay, so I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'll bring it up again. they bring Skeppy on, who is an experienced server owner. He runs his own very successful server, has a successful YouTube channel, has basically made a whole career out of being the YouTuber who's also a server owner, which I'm trying to be. Like and subscribe. And Skeppy just does a really simple command here, which is 0.1, 0.2 / set lava. Like, it is so simple. You only need someone to show you how to use World Edit for about 2 minutes before you understand how to do this. And the fact that MrBeast and his whole crew are just blown away, like they've just seen some black magic stuff. They're like, how did you do that? I think really shows that they don't have any experience running servers. And at the end of the day, it's all up to their build team, which, call me mean, and keep in mind that I love MrBeast. I love MrBeast, okay? But that build team is really going to waste. Because they're just building these awesome maps, and they clearly have a really talented command block designer behind them, and they just don't have a good server manager or a server owner who knows how to utilize plugins and add-ons to make extensions to the server. I assume because World Edit is on that this is in fact a Spigot server. It could be Bucket, but I'm pretty confident it's Spigot. Maybe Paper. Hopefully Paper. Yeah, and I think that this kind of like shows off the inexperience a bit more. Just this no idea what they're even looking at. Okay, so I'm going to be swapping over to this desert survival challenge, which is one of the worst ones. A good example of how lack of inexperience can lead to a not so fun minigame or spectator experience.
Creeper! 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 Creeper!
Dream, you want to help us kill people?
Yes, let me do that.
Oh! Wrong button!
What, Chris? Oh my gosh, let's see. Wait, is this slowly
The whole
falling on
map.
people?
Wrong button!
Turn on PvP!
Yo, this wither's going crazy on these little pigs.
This guy has a cape, which means he went to Minecon.
He's an OG.
Only successful millionaires go to Minecon. So he clearly doesn't need the 10 grand. Yeah. Ooh, $10,000 is on the line. Why have we not been talking about that?
Yeah,
more?
I just gave this guy a diamond sword.
Okay, well that diamond sword might win him 10 grand. Your diamond sword might turn into a car.
Whoa, it can do that?
I'm detonating some TNT. Take cover, boys.
Oh my gosh.
Carl, Chris, Chandler, come here.
Hello.
Chandler.
We got somebody!
Whoa,
No,
you're
Okay, so let me explain like the problem with this challenge, right? For the most part, for most of the challenge, PvP actually remains off from the majority of the video. So the idea is that, like, the idea on paper that I'm getting from the video title is that you put a bunch of players in a desert and then force them to survive. Put a bunch of players in a desert with no PvP. They all have a starter kit of basic tools and leather armor, but they can't fight each other. And you have no intention of making them actually survive in a traditional sense of need to find food or I don't know, maybe get a plugin that depletes hunger faster, makes it so that you can actually die from hunger, and then make it so the players actually have to scavenge for food to survive. That would make for a longer video, but I think it would more fit the concept that they're going for. But because PvP isn't off, this isn't a PvP arena. So what MrBeast and his crew eventually have to do is that they just have to resort to just start killing players at random, and they just have to start resort to spawning in Ravagers and mobs, and this isn't really a challenge for the people that are actually playing. All it is just players running around hoping that they are boring enough or just in the right place at the right time that they don't get targeted or spotted, and that they go pretty much the majority of the game without having to be trolled by MrBeast and his crew. If you could do that, you win $10,000. I just think that these concepts are really cool, and I think that you could do so much more with it if you just had an experienced server owner or manager who was there to look for the right plugins or set the map up the right way. But as it is, it kind of feels like they just come up with an idea, have the builders make it, have whoever is in charge of command blocks write some code to make it easy for MrBeast and his team, since they clearly can't use World Edit correctly. And then they just drop a bunch of players in and just start killing them at random, or just figuring out ways to make the situation entertaining. But you don't have to make a situation entertaining if the situation itself is already entertaining. That's why I said earlier, you know, you can keep your $10,000 incentive, you can keep your trolling players, you can keep your, you know, hilarious gang messing about and fun antics. You can keep all of that, right? But you could add things on top of it. You could have an actual fun to watch minigame with its own rules and ideas and engagements. You could do so much more with this, and it would make the videos and the player experience much better as a result.
Java just got a full set of diamond gear. Oh, try him, the guy who won 5 grand. He's getting double teamed. All right, Amit's hiding over. Amit, come on. No need to be a
He wants that money, man. You gotta hide for that money.
I'm about to force him off this mountain.
Don't worry, I'll be forcing him soon. I'm just getting the barrier set.
Oh, Chandler, no!
Oh no, Chandler! Dang it, bruh.
I mean, the plane crash is another one that I think suffers a bit from lack of experience, just because at the end of the day, it's just a big, wide open, pretty cool looking map. I must give credit to the builder team, especially the dude who does the command blocks. The map is cool, but if it's really just a bunch of players running around with some admins just throwing gear everywhere, I don't think it's that fun. I just get a bit frustrated watching these videos. Maybe it's because I'm a server owner, but I mean, I've had friends that I've watched it with, and they kind of agree that in a sense, the challenges seem kind of BS, you know? I think that there is a sense of enjoyment that you get from watching something competitive, and I think that all the competitive spirit gets knocked out of this when you have admins who are meddling and showing favoritism and dropping gear everywhere. I think it loses that charm a bit. But at the same time, I can see the other end of the spectrum where you have admins who are just trying to make the game fun. But what I'm saying is that if the game was already fun to begin with, there wouldn't really be a need. There's a reason that people will watch videos online of people just playing Bed Wars or Murder Mystery or whatever the newest Hypixel minigame is. I don't know. If the game's already fun, then players will watch. And then you could do your admin meddling on top of that without making it too unfair. Like, you could knock a couple players out of the game. There's 100 of them, you know, too bad for the 10 you knock out or whatever, to try and inject some jokes and humor into it without losing that competitive spirit that keeps people engaged. I love esports, and while I wouldn't call this an esport or even suggest that it could become an esport, I think it has the potential to be competitive if just set up with the right rules and set up with someone who knows what they're doing. So let me see if I can suggest how they could do this a bit better. Okay, so I have a couple of suggestions for MrBeast. I think it is really unreasonable for me to suggest that MrBeast could be an experienced server owner, because to be honest, the guy has a lot on his plate. He runs a big YouTube channel, he's got to organize people, he has people to pay, he has camera crew, he's got merch, he's got 2 channels, editors. There is a lot going on in his life. I can only imagine how stressful it must be. Dude must work like 16-hour work days or something crazy, right? I have no doubt about that. For him to take time out of his day to learn how to be a server owner is unreasonable. That's why I think he should look into hiring either a dev, a manager, or an owner. But this is a tricky one, right? Because whoever he puts in charge will need access to his console. And that is a... That's a big deal, because if you have access to the console, you basically have access to everything. You have all the power. So you need someone who's not gonna screw you over. You need someone you can trust. I also recommend someone local, someone you can meet with in person as well. Obviously not for every situation. I just think for MrBeast, especially since he's in America, he has more options. MrBeast should really keep his build team. This is important, right? His build team is sick. They clearly work really fast and put out really good builds. Whoever he has hired, keep them. They're amazing. And whoever is doing the command blocks, you should talk to that guy, okay? You should see if he also knows how to do back-end stuff, like if he knows how to set up his own server. If he does, hire that guy. He seems good. The last one, make sure you're running paper, please. Like, run paper. There's no reason not to. It's just great. Just trust me. I've tried Bucket, I've tried Spigot, I've tried paper. Paper's the way to go. Run a paper server, and you should look into 3 plugins in particular, I think. You shouldn't have these on all the time, but definitely depending on the situation. You should look into Hunger Games plugins. It doesn't have to be the Hunger Games plugin per se, but you should look into Hunger Games-like plugins. That should be the starting point for your research. But the big one, this is tricky, okay, because this takes a while to learn, but if you get the hang of it, it's so powerful. Script. Script is the name of a scripting plugin, which basically allows you to script your own events. Or you can use a more premium one, which is called Ultra Customizer, which I would strongly recommend. I genuinely believe that of all the plugins I've used, Ultra Customizer is the best. This is not sponsored, although I really wish it was. Look into it, you know. I think that MrBeast is in a position to really make something amazing with his server. And I really want to do a video on PewDiePie's server soon as well. And I think it's really cool that these big YouTubers are making servers for their communities. I just hope that they're run well, I guess. And I think MrBeast has an opportunity to really do something special with his. And I just think that the opportunity and the build team at the moment is being very much wasted. And I as a server owner, I want to see that changed. I really want the best for MrBeast, and I want his server to do well, and I want to be able to watch his videos and have fun, because what's happening is fun. But at the moment, I feel like only a few videos seem to hit. If we go to the video part on his channel, like let's go over. I like the tallest mountain around here. I like the $10,000 world height jump, which I watched this morning. His build competition was also really good, but I feel like the thing with these is that they work with command blocks really well. But things that involve PvP, you should really get plugins for that. Something. I really don't know what. Get a Bed Wars plugin, get a Hunger Games plugin, get a something plugin, okay? Do something fun with it. I feel like the best challenges he's done are the ones that don't involve direct combat, but instead the ones that work in tandem with command blocks. And I think that unless he really wants to focus down that path, he should look into broadening his server options with the appropriate plugins and people. I hope you guys learned something, really, and please keep in mind, I love MrBeast. This isn't like a MrBeast hate video. I'm just trying to like give some feedback and how the channel can improve and do better. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. I'm going to be trying to make videos every like twice a week from now on. I'm really just trying to commit myself to YouTube a bit more. I think that I got something going here, so I'm going to give it a go. Just want to say a big thank you to my patrons. Thank you to Slade, thank you to Ron, thank you to Aldsman, thank you to Echo. You four are amazing. Yeah, so that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.